Hello and welcome to the TheForge tutorials Masterclass. In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to use the duplicate with transform, and duplicate special commands within Maya. So in our previous lessons, we created this hammer, and as you can see in our reference images, the rings go all the way across the shaft of the hammer. So we can do that by a couple of different ways inside Maya. First, we can duplicate this ring manually across the shaft, and in order to do that, you can select that ring, go to your edit menu and select duplicate from here. And as you can see, the duplicate command has a shortcut assigned to it already, that is Ctrl+D, and that is a really useful command. You should remember all of these three commands, and we're gonna go in both of those in a moment, but right now let's stick to our duplicate command. As soon as you click on it, it's gonna create another object on top of the object that you selected, and you can move that object along the shaft. We're gonna move it in y-axis and try to match it to our reference, and you can repeat that step again and again to match the rings that are on our reference. But there is another way to do it which is a little bit faster and a little bit more easier. For now, let's delete the ring that we created with the duplicate command, and let's select our first ring and let's go back to our edit menu, and here you have another duplicate command that is called duplicate with transform, and the shortcut for that is Shift+D. Now this command only works when you have already used the duplicate command and made a transform change. So first let's duplicate our object again and give it a transform of 0.454, and now we have created a duplicate object that has a transform to it. And now if we go back to our edit menu and click on duplicate with transform, which is Shift-D, you can see it's going to duplicate another object and apply the same transform to it again. And you can repeat that command as many times as you want by pressing the Shift+D key, and you can see it's gonna keep adding that transform to the next object. And you can create all of these rings through this method. You can also achieve these same changes with your duplicate special command. So let's undo these for now, and let's select our first ring again, and we know that we want to transform it in our +Y axis. So let's go back to our edit menu and go into the settings of our duplicate special command. And as you can see in the options of your duplicate special command, you have a couple of settings that you can change. You can either create instances, or you can create copies of your initial mesh that you selected. We're going to discuss instances in a bit. And you can also control the translate, rotate and scale parameters through here. These are your X, Y and Z columns, and you can also control the number of copies that you want to create. And I already know that I want to create 9 copies of this ring. So I'm going to turn the number of copies back to 9, and we want our rings to translate in positive Y direction by 0.454 units. So before we do that, let's reset our tool settings so we are all on the same page, and we want to move it in positive 0.454 units, and we want to create 9 copies of it. So I'm going to enter 9 and let's click on duplicate special. And as soon as we click on that, you can see we have 9 copies of our rings, and they are placed perfectly along the shaft. Just like our duplicate and duplicate with transform option, these are all independent copies and you can edit them separately. But since all of our rings are the same, you can also create instances. So let's see that in action. Let's undo this. Let's select our initial mesh. Let's go back to our edit menu, and let's go back into the options of our duplicate special command, and this time let's select an instance, and we're gonna keep these same settings and click on the duplicate special button, and we have the same result, but there's something different about this. So if we select our initial mesh and go into our component mode and select our vertices, you can see that we have only selected the vertices of our initial selection, but we now have control of all of these instances. But if we make any change to it, you can see that it also affects all of the instances as well. So this is really helpful if you want to create a lot of objects that are the same, but you also want to retain the capability to edit all of them afterwards really easily. So if you have a lot of repeating objects, instance is a really good way to go. And you can create a lot of interesting shapes with duplicate with transform and duplicate special. So I hope you get creative with it. And as always, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, drop a comment. And if you want to support me directly, link to my merch store and my Patreon is in the description down below. And I'll see you in the next video.